Good evening, chaps. How you doing?
Hi guys.
Jay, you all right?
All good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Oh, you done the same?
We've all got it on.
Surprising that, isn't it?
I was wearing it since the event. I went to work with it on.
How many days are we into this now? Since finishing?
How many days since the event?
Since the event, yeah.
We'll be counting the fact that we finished up on Sunday. So I think what would be helpful is, I suppose, why don't we talk through sort of expectations as to what we thought we were going to do. We'll talk through high points, low points, maybe. What next, and importantly, fundraising. And I don't mind which order we do it in, but I thought maybe sort of like they sort of 3 or 4 things. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm assuming all our high points are the same thing.
What's that?
We finished it.
Can I kick off with that actually? Because
Go on, mate.
I was, and I don't want this to come across in the wrong way, but I think through the event, I never felt, I think there's one moment, probably about 30k in, where I thought, wow, we're actually doing this. This is pretty cool. When we finished it, I didn't feel elated. I actually felt really underwhelmed. I got back to the hotel and Stacey waited up. And I quietly sort of went over to her, and the kids were sleeping. And I said, and she said, how do you feel? And I said, honestly, I feel a bit disappointed. She goes, are you joking? I said, no, I do. I felt disappointed, because I genuinely do. I felt disappointed with how I ran on the day and how it ended up sort of unfolding for me personally. And I think it was partly down to me not being in the zone. You know, there were sort of personal reasons leading up to the event, which made, you know, preparation for it in the last couple of weeks really hard. And certain things got to me much more than I thought they would whilst I was running in those low points. And I didn't feel that like the 50k, I felt like very, very pleased with how we all ran, the performance, just everything.
50k, just the 50k point was after lunch, and it was probably the hottest part of the day, I think.
Yeah, so I'm in the 50k Chiltern, I felt very happy with.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. By comparison, I didn't feel it. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. I think there's, as I said, I think there's a couple of personal reasons. But I didn't. I thought I'd feel elated. Having said that, a few days have passed, and I've been kind of reflecting on it more and more. And I look back on it overall as, like, you know, the whole run and the whole campaign that we've done with just this real sense of pride. So
I didn't feel the atmosphere on the day, which was promised, and I don't feel like I had that adrenaline push like I was going to have. I don't know if that's just me.
What about you, Jamie?
I think you guys are being a bit harsh. I think you have to put things into perspective, and I think you have to understand that we are not ultra runners. We've all been running for a very short time. We didn't really have a time in mind. Yes, of course, we said that we'd like to get there, you know, before midnight or when it got light or what have you. But we didn't really have a game plan. But even if we did have a game plan, I think if you approach it in a too ambitious way, then you're a serious risk of not finishing. I mean, there were 30% of people that took on that challenge that did not finish, and we were not them. We were in the 70%. So the most important thing is to finish the event, and we did that. Albeit maybe not. You know, Adam, you couldn't run at the end. You had some ankle issues or what have you. We've all had low points. We've never done this before. And of course, there's always going to be a learning points throughout anything that you do. And, you know, if you were to take on a similar challenge in the future, then you can look at the things that may not have gone so well on the day and you can try and rectify them. But without knowing what those are when you first take on a challenge, then you just don't know. The most important goal was to finish the challenge, and we did that. Anything else was a bonus. I think you guys are being a bit harsh, to be honest with you. Yes, I get the fact. Go on.
Can I just step in for a second, just to be clear? That is my own. That's the only thing from my perspective that I'm not disappointed that I didn't. I was expecting a crazy atmosphere. That was all. I loved the rest of it and everything that we did.
I mean,
we finished it.
I mean, you have to also remember when we came in, it was 20 hours from the start. We were all not just physically tired, but we were mentally tired as well. It's 2:30 in the morning. I go to bed normally at 10 o'clock in the evening. So it was a late night. Forget about the running. It was a late night anyway. It was cold. It was windy. There weren't many people around, to be fair, but then I suppose you wouldn't expect that at that sort of time. So I hear what you're saying, that there wasn't all that adrenaline buzz. Maybe we would have had if we came in earlier, but at the same time, I think the biggest regret from my point of view is probably just not realizing how much time I was spending at the rest stations, or we were spending at the rest station. We spent 6 hours at the rest stations, which actually thinking about it is absolutely crazy to spend 6 hours at a rest station, but it didn't feel like that at the time. And it felt every time we stopped, it felt like, yes, we did need a bit of a break. We've all had low points. I mean, from a personal perspective, I was feeling sick halfway, and I knew I needed at least an hour to have something to eat and for food to digest. Yes, of course, doing it again, you can look at that, and you can look at sort of cutting that sort of time and doing things a bit differently. But you never know. The first attempt is always going to be the trial attempt. The most important thing is to finish it, and we did it. So
just to put things into perspective, I think these numbers are correct. There are 2,000 people taking part. Out of those 2,000, 700 were doing it continuously over 1 or 2 days. I think 500 of those were over the 1 day. And out of 700, we came 240th. Out of 700.
Yeah.
I think that is awesome.
Yeah,
that's a really good fit. Even though we took 14 hours of running, which I think is a pretty good pace, and 6 hours in the rest stations, 240th is pretty good.
I think the running time, the 14 hours of running, is actually pretty much on par
with about 7K.
Our Chiltern, maybe a fraction longer, but it's going to be, because there was it was longer. You want to go a bit slower, and there were parts of it which I always knew that we would be walking. I agree with you, Jamie. I think we spent way too long in the rest stops, and I'm kind of kicking myself because going up to the event, I think we said that what we would do is that we'll go to the rest stops, we'll grab some food, refill our bottles, and then we'll walk. We'll just beep ourselves. We'll just go. We don't have to sit in the rest stops to eat. We can walk whilst we're eating. We might as well.
I don't think you can have much. I don't think you should have much regret. I really don't. I think if you're serious about doing things better for next time and learning from that, then do another one. There's no one to stop you from doing another one.
Okay, so for me, one of the hardest bits of the run was that 40 to 56K. When we came out, it was boiling hot, and we ended up just looking down this endless road, no turnings either side. You couldn't see when the road was going to end, and there was no shade. There's no trees either side, and I had 500 mils of water in one of my water bottles here. I had 500 mils of electrolyte. I thought, I don't want the electrolyte because it's sweet. It's not going to quench my thirst, and I'll just I'd like to keep on sipping on the water. But if I have the water too quickly, that's going to get depleted. And then, I don't know, the heat just really got to me.
There you go. There you go. You haven't trained in that.
No, true.
We trained in freezing cold weather, from January, minus weather. So we were never, dehydrating like we were on that day. It was absolutely boiling.
Yeah, so, it was. High points. Obviously completing it. For me, the 56K, seeing Stacey and the kids was a big boost. So I'm sorry, Jamie, that Emma and your fam couldn't make it.
That's fine.
But seeing them was, especially having gone through that 40 to 56k boiling hot long stretch, seeing them, knowing that they were going to be there at the end of that bit, was, I think, kind of pushed me on at that stage to get to the halfway point. That was a massive boost.
At least you ran up to them.
At least we ran up to them.
Yeah. There was, so just so everyone knows, when we finally got to it was called Tully's Farm. We arrived at Tully's Farm and we're like, brilliant, we're there. It was a really short walk from the woodlands, which was just opposite Tully's Farm, straight to where the family were. We knew exactly where they were. There was a slight hill. And said, no, it's a hill, I'm walking it. I said, we can't walk to them. So we finally plucked up the courage and ran and went up this short, probably 10, 20 yard hill, whatever. Yeah. I ran to them. It would have been a bit poor if we hadn't run to them, I thought.
No, it was good. It was good. So that was that for me was a big highlight. And then seeing your brother was so funny because he arrived at Tully's Farm at what, 2 hours before we got there?
Well, when we thought we were going to get there.
when we said that, we thought we were going to get there. He was hanging around. I felt really bad for him. And I think as we left, sort of like about 10 minutes after we left the 40k spot, I said, "Is your brother still at the 56k?" He went, No, he's left. And I said, "Oh, has he gone home?" And I don't know what you're about to say, whether you knew, but literally at that moment, he came walking around the corner. It was so funny. It was so funny.
Well, the funny thing is, he must have walked. Well, he went straight past you, Jamie. Jamie, you went straight past him and didn't realise.
See him.
No.
That's because you were in the zone. That's why.
I was with you. I was with you up until literally about a minute before he came, Jamie. But then something happened to my bottle and it all started going everywhere. So I said, "Right, I'll see you in a minute." Adam caught me up because you were at that time.
You ran together. Okay, interesting.
Adam was behind. Adam, I was with you, Jamie. Adam was a little bit behind for some reason, and then Adam called me up. Then we just walked for a bit, didn't we? And then saw Greg's brother Anthony.
For me, leaving 56k up to 67, I felt personally I smashed that bit. I was really happy with how I was running on that one. And then I got to 67, and Jamie, I think you had a bit of a wobble because you were feeling a bit sick. And we stopped, and then Greg, you had to go to the loo. And so I think we're hanging around there for about sort of 30 minutes plus. For me, that could have been a 5-minute stop. And I think I was in the zone, then very quickly got out of the zone, unfortunately, for stopping too long.
I think for me, apart from finishing and all that sort of stuff that you just said, I think the 80k mark we got to, and I think between 60 and 80, whatever, it seemed to just take ages. It just every kilometer was taking longer and longer, especially compared to our practice runs where 5-10k is really quick and the Ks just go down, just go so quickly. And I think getting to that 80k it was just getting dark. It got absolutely freezing when we stopped. I was freezing in the tent. I was thinking, how are we going to do another 20k? That's just taken 3 hours or something like that. And I think whatever happened, we just got up and got out. And I thought we'd just go walk. It was a pitch black road. And I think we both looked at each other and said, should we walk? Oh, should we run? And we did. And I think for the rest of the way, we just ran pretty much the rest of the way. It was a country road, pitch black, put our head torches on. And we just went for it. And we had all this energy after being freezing and just not wanting to give up because I knew I wouldn't, but I felt like I wasn't sure I was going to do it.
That was either side of the 80k point, almost like a tale of two halves, wasn't it? Because as you're saying, going up to 80k, like you lost your shoe in the mud. I mean, the terrain was awful. We're like navigating over some like real boggy bits, and I mean it was unrunnable. And you didn't take your head torch out of your bag in fear of losing battery life for the remainder of the run. So you're doing it in the dark, and then I had to spin around to like shine my torch so that you could find your shoe again.
Cheers, Adam.
And then getting up to, and then at that point, 80k. Personally, I started feeling quite sick. I think I overdid it with the jelly babies I was eating en route. And I got up to the 80k point, and I looked at the pizza, and I was like, honestly, I think I don't know how I'm going to stomach this. And thanks to you,
I forced it down here. I think that helped.
You even went to get it for me.
We
saw Jamie. I still remember seeing you at that bit. So we arrived at the 10, and you've been there for about 15 minutes. and you were like, oh yeah, I've been here for about 15 minutes. I don't think this is bad, but I'm going to go, so I feel like I'm tightening up. I was like, no, that's absolutely fine. You're all right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to come and sit with you for a bit, and then I'm going to go. I was like, yeah, okay. So I sat down. I was like, what the bloody hell's he gone? Is he gone? They were like 10 minutes later, like, no, he's still not here. And then you sort of like just came out from around the back. I don't know where you've been, but I think you must have got yourself changed or something.
I got myself changed. Yeah, it's freezing. I had to put on sort of compression shorts, and that took ages. And anyway, I lost a portable battery charger, so I was looking for that.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. But I tell you something. I have to say, I think the day was very, very enjoyable, and I'll tell you why. Okay, firstly, this is something we've never done, and we've completed the challenge. But not only that, it was so lovely to see when we did our Facebook Live posts or the updates or what have you, to see everyone's amazing support. Even just like keep going, you're doing great or what have you. So for me, that was wonderful.
Yeah, I agree.
The second thing, I think you're being too harsh on this. The second thing is there were fantastic moments on that race. It's all part of the experience. I mean, you talk about you losing your shoe, Greg. I don't know about you guys, but I was. I think you were just a bit behind me in this. It's towards. I must have been around about the 80, just before the 80K. 80. I was running through a field, and all of a sudden there's a load of horses that are coming towards me. And I think, I don't know if horses charge you, or do they charge you? Do they not charge you? I know cows do, but I wasn't sure about horses. So I started walking really slowly, and I got caught up by one of these walkers. And he said, don't worry about horses. They won't charge you. It's cows that you have to worry about. Yeah. We went through a station. We went through a railway track. We had to go through so many of those gates. We had to climb up, start all those styles.
Adam was making noises.
I'm sorry, it's just the whole thing. And the other thing as well is, yes, I didn't run with you two as much as I probably should have done, or I would have liked in hindsight, but you make friends on the course, and even if you don't run with the people, whenever you stop at a station, you catch up with those people, and you're almost like a little running club together. And you see the same people at the rest stops, and you compare notes. So I just think that whole experience, from my point of view, I'm not looking at the time. Yes, I think deep down I could have definitely got a faster time, but it wasn't about that. It was about. It was about enjoying it. It was about definitely completing it, because that was our goal. Our goal was to complete it and enjoying it. And there were so many moments that to reflect on where things were just brilliant. And yes, there were low moments, but when you look back on it, the low moments, actually, you can turn it around and say, I felt sick at halfway point. I was doing it too much with the probably with the electrolyte mixture in my water. And I thought, right, I need to sit down for an hour, have something to eat, let it digest, and then go with water for the next stop. And I rectified it. So for me, that's a positive. So I don't think I just I really enjoyed the experience. I have to be honest with you. Initially, I said I'll never do another one again. But I have to say, I should be saying this, but I wouldn't rule out doing another ultra challenge. Just because because it was great. I don't think we'll be fundraising again necessarily, because we'll be so grateful for everyone's support. But it was great. I really loved it, and I've enjoyed the training as well. So I've got no complaints.
I was about to say, if I didn't have to do the training like we did, I would 100% do that again. I would 100%.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does come with the training. Yeah. You do need to train.
Yeah. Do you?
Let's move on. Fundraising.
Let me check if there's not been any more.
Check the actual precise amount. So just putting it into perspective, when we first started, we had been given a target of £600 per runner to raise for Alzheimer's Research UK. And collectively, we looked at each other and we thought, yeah, we should be able to do that. We should be able to do that, which we then did. That went up. So we then you're able to change on the actual Just Giving page yourself what target you want to put. So we put 3,500, I think, sort of at the time feeling that was sort of pretty aspirational. That was then beaten. Went up to 5,000, that was beaten. Went up to 7,500, that was beaten. And then it was like a big moment, like, do we push it for 10,000? Do we? And we were at 9,400 before the Chilson 50 that we did. And then post Chilson 50, we beat the 10,000. Going into the event, I think the night before, we're at about 12,500, if I'm not mistaken. During the run, we got up to 13,500. And then I think we might have even said during the run at one point, wouldn't it be amazing if we got to 15,000? Right now, we're being far too greedy, anyway, the precise figure is Gregor's. Go on, mate. As
I'll let you say it. I
haven't got it in front of me.
Okay.
Go on, Greg.
So the current total is £15,098.
Amazing. Honestly,
Amazing.
Today it was like just under 15,000 like the whole day, and I kept on like refresh, like no, still nothing more.
Obsessed.
It's like sit and wait, just see what happens. But honestly, I don't know how.
15,000 is incredible.
It is staggering. £15,000. I mean, I've said it on social media, but I'll say it again. It surpassed my expectations significantly. I can't. I'm overwhelmed with the generosity that everybody has shown. There's been some.
Incredible.
There's been some. I mean, I don't want to kind of pick out names or say amounts because it's all relative. But an enormous thank you to everybody, because times are not always easy. But even if they are easy, to give anything anyway to a charity is so warmly received, and it means. I mean, it meant so much to us as we were going through this whole process. To kind of get to the end of it and now see that we've raised £15,000 is just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. So a massive thank you to everybody for all the donations, for putting up with us on social media, I suppose, for tuning into these vlogs and podcasts and whatever else that we've been doing. Absolutely incredible, really. Thank you.
And I would also say a big thank you to you, Adam, as well, because I think you've been the biggest out of the three of us. You've been the biggest driver of putting the vlogs out. Yes, of course, we've all been posting on social media, but you're the one that started all the vlogging. I think back in September or whenever it was. I can't remember when it was.
It's earlier than that.
And then obviously Greg and I were introduced as time went on, but you're the one that set it all up, and you're the one
pushed us. Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't even running this thing. I was supposed to be running a marathon, and you said, "Oh, we'll just run an ultra." And I said, "Well, I don't know. All right, then I'll do it like that." And I remember texting you like at midnight one night, say, "Yeah, I'll do it, I suppose." And you go, "You serious?" So you're the one.
You did really well.
You're the one obviously researched it. You chose the charity. Obviously, the charity's brilliant. But as far as we're all concerned, it's a very worthwhile cause. But you've been definitely driving it probably a lot harder certainly than me.
Me too. Yeah, it's well put, Jamie.
So well done, Adam. But I just want to echo Adam's thoughts. It's just incredible. I would never, ever, ever have expected for people to be so generous to get to the point where we've raised £15,000. I mean, that is, as you've already mentioned, Adam, way beyond our wildest expectations. And as Adam said, everyone's had a very difficult 18 months with COVID. So money's a bit tight for a lot of people. So for people to be so generous and donate, it's just very, very very humbling, very gratefully received. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Just to add to that, I think the charity as well, I think they have been absolutely amazed by it. Just some of the emails we've had, we haven't had that much contact with them, but when they have come, I think that quite a few people have been furloughed at the charity. So there's only been a handful of people involved, but whenever I think Adam, was it Rob, one of the guys who's been one of the main contacts, he's just like, wow, like guys, how well have you done? first of all, just getting to do this event, and then all the fundraising. I think they're pretty humble as well. So yeah, I think it's from everybody. Well done, Adam, as well for organising it so well. You pretty much did. We did nothing.
No, we didn't. You didn't do nothing. It has been a team effort. It has been a team effort, and I think we might have mentioned it previously, but one of the benefits of doing it collectively, doing something like this collectively, is that there's a wider audience that we're able to reach. So without all of us putting together, we wouldn't have reached £15,000, and who knows what we might have reached if we did it individually. But I think it picks up momentum, and it helps about that we collectively have gone about doing it together. And it's also been helpful to do such an enormous event like this with all the preparation and the training, because as you said, Jenny, we're all novices. None of us have really been running for that long. You've been running for 2 years. I've been running for about a year. So Greg, I mean, we've all done a tiny bit of running before, but nothing like this. So, to kind of feed off each other with sharing of information, working out about kit, about nutrition, different tips that we've kind of been sharing with each other, motivating each other, trying to get each other out there, especially in those winter months. It's kind of kept me going. It's kept me sort of continue to keep me focused on making sure that I'm doing the right thing, week by week with my training and with everything else I need to be thinking about. So, thank you to both of you for everything as well.
I just want to talk about on the similar point. A lot of people have posted us how inspiring it is and everything else. And one thing I would say, anyone watching this, is that we've obviously found something, a target. We've trained for it. We set a plan. We've trained for it. We've done it. And I'd just like to say that anyone that has any sort of ideas about maybe for themselves getting out there and doing something, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a couch to 5K. It could be not even running. It could be something else. I have to say, just having a goal and setting yourself a target, and then setting yourself some sort of training program, and then reaching that goal, I think that's so rewarding and so fulfilling.
I think my take of it is, basically I completely agree with everything you just said, but my own approach sort of leading into this was slightly inspired with gym work originally, and then watching CrossFit and realizing how the human body, you can actually push yourself. And then you watch other people do various things and you think, oh, well, that's amazing. But life is there to be lived. And yeah, we've all got busy lives, and I don't want to go through life with any kind of regrets, thinking, wish I gave that a go. I wonder what it would have been had I tried. Yeah. So try it, and
put your mind to anything, and you can do it.
Can I mention a word about the Unspoken Heroes? There's 3 of them. They're called Mrs. Lane, Mrs. Gross, and Mrs. Gross.
Yes. Absolutely. What can I say? I mean, the time commitment's been massive, and obviously they've had to put up with us being out a lot of the time and dealing with screaming kids and other things going on when we're going for a run. And yeah, I mean, they've been very supportive. And yeah, very grateful to Emma, certainly from my end.
I think you guys only near the end got me out much earlier than I normally did on a Saturday morning. I couldn't do the time that you did, so probably the time that I normally went out, sort of 9-10 o'clock, was probably harder for Laura, because things were going on then. So yeah, I think I didn't quite get out at the times you did to get back at a good time, but so Laura had to put up with me coming back at nearer lunchtime when and being out the whole morning. So
not coming back at 6 a.m. after getting out at 5, no.
No. So well,
Adam and Greg, what's the earliest time you got up? I mean, I started running at 5. That's the earliest time I'd get up. But
6:45, I think I got out once. That
I
was the O's.
honestly can't remember. I think maybe 5:45, maybe around then, I think. But it kind of goes both ways because, like, so Monday to Friday, I'd be working pretty much solidly and wouldn't be around that much to help with kids. I mean, during lockdown as well, what with the homeschooling. So Stacey was doing all of that. And then Saturdays, is probably, from her point of view, wanted a rest. But she wasn't getting one because I was out training Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back, you'd stretch, you have a bit of food,
It's Saturday morning's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's another hour after you come home at least. So the whole Saturday morning's gone. So, but the flip side is if you go out really early, which I try to do, you're then knackered for the rest of the afternoon. And like you try to convince yourself, I'll be all right, I'll be okay, I'll muck in, I'll be around with the kids, and and you want to spend a good quality time with them, but that is hard. That's hard on them as in a very different way. There's no break for them.
Or watching a movie on a Saturday night after your long run and falling asleep on the sofa, trying to stay awake, but not following it, and Emma ending up watching the movie on her own.
That happened anyway.
So anyway, a big thank you to the Unspoken Heroes, and Stacey knows how much it means to me and how grateful I am. I'm sure yours do.
They all know. They all know.
Okay, so then the big question is, what next? Jamie, I think you might have alluded to what you might be doing next at some point in the future.
Well, I knew what I was doing next before anyway. So for me, I'm straight back into it. Actually, I'll probably get back into it probably next week, and I've got the Manchester Marathon on the 10th of October. And then we talked already, I think, last night, Adam, briefly about possibly giving an ultra a go, maybe next summer, perhaps. But obviously not committing, and it's just a very early thought process at the moment.
He's head at the top right. He knows he's going to be joining us. Yeah, there we are. Come
on, Greg.
That was a shake, not a nod.
You were like this. You watch it back.
Well, I have to say, I've looked at all those ultra events, and there is a stunning route that they do around the Lake District, and the Lake District is stunning. I mean, it's very hilly, obviously, and you have to put a lot of hill work in. But it looks absolutely stunning. And I'm just thinking, should we? But obviously, we've just finished one. It's stupid to start planning for another one, I think, isn't it?
So I think, okay, so I swore to myself during the race that I wasn't going to do this again, because I thought, because I was just in agony and I was having to drag myself over that finish line. I thought, this is just stupid. But having sort of had a few days now to kind of think about it, and as I said before, I kind of feel like I want to test myself again because of my lead up and different things that I was upset with. So yeah, I think another one is probably on the cards. I don't feel like I have to jump into one straight away. I'm quite keen actually to do a couple of nice trail half marathons, 50k runs. Maybe there's a Cotswold one which I've got my eye on. There's a couple of other ones in the Chilterns. There's some night running that you can do. There's a couple of just social running groups that I sent you the link to it, Jamie. Outdoor Adventure Club, I think it's called. They have a few events that they put on now and again. So I might just chalk a couple of those off just for fun, and then I'll see. So yeah, Lake Districts. Was it Lake or P?
Lake.
That's
right up north.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Lake Windermere.
Yeah, it's a possibility. But yeah, I'm not 100% confirming, but I think it's more likely than not that I'll be doing something like that. I reckon.
I suppose a motivator for that is because, as you said before, you were a bit disappointed with elements, and you want to better yourself and you want to prove that you can do it.
That's it.
So it's a different race because it's a different terrain, it's different elevation gain, etc. So you can't one doesn't compare to the other, but you can try different things and you can look at where you might have gone wrong and improve them. And who knows, next time, if you did it next time, you might have a better time with it.
Well, look, what I do know is that, as you said before, Jamie, over lockdown, has been a brilliant distraction. It's been, it's forced you to get out. I've gone on runs where the countryside that I've run through has been absolutely stunning. I've gone through some challenges on just training runs where you're thinking, how am I going to get through this, or whether it's a physical side or whether it's the route that you've chosen. Getting lost a couple of times, so all of that kind of stuff I hadn't experienced before, and it's been fantastic. That I've really, really, really enjoyed. So, who knows? But I think I'm going to keep running up for sure.
The trail running I've enjoyed. I didn't do any trail running before this, and I think with the trails, I'm definitely incorporating it in the marathon training.
Glad to hear it.
Because it is great. It is great. Trail running is great. It's a different type of running. It's harder. You have to be more conditioned for trail running. But I think it has a lot of benefits actually.
It's so much nicer.
When did we seriously start training? Because I can't really, because it's May now. Was it the?
I started late October.
For this.
Late October.
So I was gradually getting there. So I was sort of chalking off on weekends, half marathons. But I wouldn't say that was. I think that I ramped up to 30 just before Christmas, and then my plan then was to push on and try to get to 40 by March.
It's about 6 months then. That's 6.
Yeah,
6, 7
I
months.
reckon a good 6 to 8 months of training for me personally. The initial bits were just sort of foundation stuff, and just seeing what works for me and what doesn't.
So we've got 6 months to decide. If you did, when you do want to do the ultra again, you've got 6 months to decide.
Greg, I have to say, apart from that, you kept very quiet about your next stages. What are your next stages?
I showed you before with my head movement.
Like this one.
Nothing at all.
I'm going to keep running, certainly for the moment, and I'm not going to make any decisions at this stage.
It's not a no.
Never say. Look, if I could do London to Brighton again in a couple of weeks, I would, because the actual day was really fun and I really, really enjoyed it.
Mm.
Can I be bothered to do all that training again? Maybe.
Whoa!
I'll tell you what will be different. This time around, everything was new. Everything, from footwear to kit to nutrition, everything. The whole experience of getting up early, what time should you leave, what time are you going to aim to get back. Now we've done it, there won't be that uncertainty, there won't be that newness, which will just only work to your advantage when training. So it feels like a massive deal to go out, initially to go out for like 2 hours or 3 hours on a long run. But now we used to say, right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to leave at 7, I'm going to get back at 10, and then I'm going to be, showered off and sorted out by 11. Then that still seems like quite achievable. Whereas beforehand, it felt like a really, really big deal. I don't know if it's making any sense.
No.
No.
You're getting delirious like you were near the end of the race. Have you guys been hungry quite a lot since?
Whether I've been hungry is almost irrelevant. I've been eating like a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I was saying to Jamie before, I can see quite easily how Ricky Hatton just went from being this sort of sporting legend to just a very, very overweight man. Like, you come out of that zone, right, I'm just going to treat myself to whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, it's true. One thing I would say about this is you have to remember your body's still recovering and it's still burning more calories because of that since that run on Sunday.
Just one thing. How did, I don't know if you've seen on the forums on the Facebook group, these people talking about 10, 12 blisters, having to have them drained. None of us got one. My feet were in the best shape after any run. Not one, nothing was wrong with them. How do we not have any? I don't understand.
I don't know don't know about you, Greg, but my strategy, I mean, I focus a lot on looking after feet. So every 25k or thereabouts, I change my socks, put blister tape on the bits where I thought they're more vulnerable, and I put a lot of Vaseline around toes and around the sides of my feet. And whether that helps or not, I don't know. But
it would have helped. It would have helped.
Because
I did the same. It would have helped. I did the same. But the trade-off, obviously, is more time at rest stations.
Yeah.
Did you need to change your socks as often as you did? I don't think so. I reckon.
I don't think I did. I mean,
After 50k,
once halfway, and that's it. I reckon.
After 50k, I didn't change them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys did. After when I lost my shoe and everything got muddy, I just couldn't face to take it off. I was like, it's actually not too bad. It was a bit uncomfortable. I was like, I'm not taking it off. I'm just gonna keep going. And it was
right. You've got this unbelievable amount of resilience. Like you really do. I had a little sort of exchange with text with your brother, and he was saying exactly the same thing. You're very humble, and you just have this sort of sheer determination. And when we're running, there were points when we stopped and we're like, yeah, let's get going again. It's like, yeah, okay.
Both ways.
Yeah, I know. It is both ways. But you were, I think, out of the three of us, you did the least amount of training. You didn't. I don't remember you whinging or moaning really at all during the run about anything.
It's the same. It was the same in the 50k practice run as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We had low point. We both, Adam, you and I had low points. Greg seemed. I know he had.
That's right.
Maybe a slight ankle issue, but he just got on with it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
All my injuries somehow on the day were absolutely fine.
I didn't know about the thing in your shoe until you just mentioned it now. It's hilarious. You are, and on the Facebook post on one of them, the 80k video one, where the one where I felt sick and you got me the pizza.
Yeah, no, sorry. I spoke for you.
Looking back at that video, when I put you on camera, you did look battered. At the time, I don't remember you looking like that.
I know.
And you said, if you wanted to give up then, actually, I think you actually said to me, mate, there's no shame in giving up now if you want to give up now.
Is what you said.
No one's going to think anything worse of you. And I was like, mate, I'm absolutely not giving up. But little did I know that was, I'm guessing, that thought process was going through your mind that maybe I'll give up as well.
That when you put the video on me, that was more. I was throughout the whole. I don't know if you. I think I was the first one to do Facebook Live. I know,
yeah,
or whatever. But on the day, I couldn't get my phone out and start video. I just wanted to concentrate getting to the end. So when you put the video on me, I was just like, I wanted to try and put you off, not by being rude. I was pretty much. I was just like, I was freezing at that point. I was freezing in there. I wasn't very comfortable. And as soon as we got off and ran, we warmed up straight away. And that's when we ran for pretty much the rest of the route, apart from big hill and stuff. But anywhere we could run, we did. And it was good. But yeah, I am determined and I never give up, which is a bit annoying sometimes. But
wow, it's a great quality.
Not always the best one as well, because I don't give up. But yeah, it's in the main it's good.
Yeah, agreed.
But we did it.
Anyway, well done to all of us, I guess. And thank you again massively to everybody who's been following, and to all the donations and all the words of support leading up to the event, during the event and afterwards. I mean, the amount of people have been very, very complimentary. It's been very, very nice. I'm grateful for the people who we know, who we're friends with, family and friends. We've got a decent amount of people around us who kind of just help push us on, I think, each and every one of us. So thank you from me.
We've had 200. So out of that £15,000 was 273 donations.
Amazing.
That's incredible. That is amazing.
That's amazing.
Almost 100 each. If we
and a lot of people that I may have been closer to years ago and not so close now, and all of a sudden they've donated, and that's just amazing. It just shows you how kind people can be, and the words can't describe how grateful I am.
Let's echo. Nothing else to say.
Yeah, let's leave it at that then. So for the final time on the vlogs, I think
Grassy
it's probably
vlog.
going to be the last one that we do, isn't it? I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Well,
I think people get sick
until you
of our
start
voice
up again.
otherwise.
Until we start up again. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can go. This feels like a
Closure.
Yeah, I think it does. I'm going to miss it in a way.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun.
It's been emotional. It's been emotional. Sure.
So for a final time, justgiving.com.
/
fundraising.
/
easier
said
than run.
Run 1, 2, 3.
And we never even bloody changed the name as well. It was too late for that. I remember when we selected, we're like, yeah, we'll definitely change the name. Anyway, if anyone hasn't given, or if anyone would like to re-give, then that'd be amazing. But breaking £15,000, as we all said, surpassed all of our expectations. And enormously grateful. So I think probably for the final time, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Cheers, boys. Take
Boys,
it easy.
I'll see you soon. Speak soon.
We'll speak at £16,000 when we've got to that.
That's the attitude. Give up.
If anyone wants to sign up for the Manchester Marathon, let me know. I could do with the training buddy.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Cheers, fellas.
All right, see you later.
Cheers.
Bye.